Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Social Club weekly news podcast. We are recording on Thursday, the 13th of November, 2025, and we're going to be talking about the Japanese-centric state of play, or the Japan-centric state of play that happened earlier this week, revealing a new piece of hardware from PlayStation 5, a hardware reveal this week, swiftly followed up, of course, by Steam, Valve that is, slapping their hardware on the table, showing everybody up, making a fool of everyone. But we'll get to that later, of course. Uh, of course, I am your host, Harry, aka Knavish Crayfish. And joining me this week, we've got a trio. We're running trios today. I have the greatest showman I know, Adam, aka Oh No, Not Addy.
Hello. Be all right. Good to see you guys.
Excellent. Good to have you here, buddy.
Yeah.
And we have our very own HD Daire. Running the
Yeah,
camera. Look at that. Looking very
there
spiffy.
it is. I finally got my name, my nickname.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's always nice when you get a new, fresh piece of kit to play with, and it's definitely
Yeah.
doing you a lot of justice, man. It's a very nice, clean image. And what was the spec you said it goes up at?
It's 1440p apparently, which is way higher than I'll ever need it to be. I don't know if that's what it's outputting right now, but yeah, it's crazy. OBS only recognizes it as like 480p though. I don't know what the deal with that is. But yeah, no, it's fancy.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks it. So yeah, very nice. There we are, our very own HD Dara now. So you got that to look forward to going forward. Hope you don't regret it. But yes, we
Glazing me.
It's the start. It's only just the start as well. But yeah, of course.
I mean,
we
yeah,
are-
the better coming in hot with the innuendo. Is it warm? Is it
Oh,
hot
no.
here? It's just me.
this is going to set a precedent now for the three of us going forward.
Yeah, I'm going to sound a klaxon every time I hear one now. I'm just going to...
We are, of course, a few members of the Gamer Social Club, a website dedicated to covering games, all things with news, reviews, previews, interviews, guides, editorials, and anything else we can think of. And that, of course, is all over at www.gamersocialclub.ca. You can check out our work along with a bunch of our other teammates, our cohorts, as it were, over there. Loads and loads of stuff going up every day. And you can catch, of course, our video content over here on our YouTube channel. You have either stumbled across or are a returning viewer for our weekly news podcast here. And we also have the Girl Pod that comes out every Monday, which features one of our regulars here normally, Lady V, as well as Candy. So you've got that to look forward to. And more recently, of course, we've been getting guests on there, but another member of the team, Bright, has also been featuring quite a lot on Girl Pod. So you've got now a bit of a trio as well on that side of things. Again, you can follow all of us as well as the site on all of our socials and things like that. All of this will be down below, but for those of you just listening, you can find the Gamer Social Club on Twitter or X at gamer_s_c. And then you can find us on Threads and Blue Sky and anywhere else at Gamer Social Club. All our personal ones will be down below in the description. So you can check those out there if you'd like to follow us individually, as well as anything that we referenced today as far as our own written material. You can find all our links to our sort of articles down below. Speaking of which, of course, the three things you need to know about us as a site is that, number one, we finish every game that we review. We will be rolling credits on it. If we can't roll credits, then we will be doing as much of it as we can before giving you our opinions, our thoughts, and of course our score. The second one to know is that we are a fully independent grassroots site. We're doing this based all on our own passion for video games. I wanted to share that with all of you. So you have that to look forward to. No higher ups telling us what to do, as it were. It's entirely independent. And lastly, we do not cover any rumors, as it were. We put everything through a rumor-free filter when it comes to the news. So anything you read from us, is factual, and we are not going through subreddits or social media to find tidbits and things like that. We are only picking up the genuine article and bringing that to you and keeping it up to date as best as we can, moving forward with any stories. That, I believe, is the majority of what I normally cover in the rigmarole. Of course, if you'd like to come in and hang out with us, talk games, and generally be more involved with the Gamer Social Club community, consider joining the Discord, which is down below. It's steadily growing. I think we are about to hit 100 members, which is very exciting. It's always cool to hit a milestone, and it's been a long time coming. So yeah, really hoping for a couple more people to come and join us, and bring us up to our centennial. Would that be something? Would that be even like the correct terminology? I don't know on that one, I'm afraid. But yeah. Anyway, with
We're
all
just
of
going
that
to leave
said,
you to worry about that. We're not even going to help you out.
no, I know you left me floundering there, definitely. But that has been the rigmarole again. I've no doubt forgotten something, and we'll mention it later on. But then it wouldn't be the rigmarole as I do it if I didn't. So yeah, we'll move on to our first segment as always, which is what we have been playing. And do either of you want to kick us off? I've got two in the pocket. One I'll talk briefly about, and then another one that I will go into a bit more in depth. So does anybody feel particularly strong? I know that Adam, you said you played a couple of hours in Possessor.
Possessor. Yeah. I've not had lots of time to play this week as yet, but I have spent 2 or 3 hours on Possessor. That's Possessor with the S in brackets for some reason. So I don't know if you actually meant to pronounce the S. What the purpose? I really want to know what that's for. Why has it been called that?
Yeah,
I mean,
so you don't know that yet already in the opening. That's still a mystery.
No, they've not told us that yet. But it's
This comes first.
Sorry.
You're supposed to pronounce the S first.
Okay,
Oh.
Possessor.
Possessor.
Possessor. Yeah, so it's a metroidvania, and it's got like this really cool like cell shaded 2D art style type thing, and it's I don't have lots of story yet, but it starts off your main character, I would say Luna, and I might be wrong, but she has been like it's straight away it's chaos, and you've lost your legs, literally lost your legs. They've been cut off by this accident. Something's fallen on you, and there's this kind of sinister looking chap just over there, and he's like willing to help you out. I think he's called Rhem, Rhem, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can help you. I'm a demon, and I'll give you I'll help you repair your legs if you take me back to where I need to go." And she's like, "Yes, just help me. I need to know what's going on with my parents." Yeah. And then you get your legs, which are like these bony stubs. So there's like just bone, just sticking out of the bottom of her legs. And she gets horns because so basically what happens is the demon possesses her to give her legs back, and also then so you can carry him where he needs to go, and that gives you some abilities. It also brings you back to life, obviously, because you were dying. And then so there's got this quite cool dynamic where they're just shouting at each other. Like, she don't give a fuck. She's like, "You're a dick." He's like, "I don't care." And then they keep occasionally like the memories keep like they keep seeing each other's memories, which is how I like kind of telling the story of kind of what the kind of drivers are and stuff like that, which is a pretty cool way to do it. And he's like, "Whoa, should I not have seen that?" I'm like, "You don't talk about that guy." You're like, "Whoa, who that was that guy?" Like, "No, we don't talk about him." And he's like, "You're a dick," and then he just carries on. But yeah, so still early on, but it feels like a good Metroidvania so far. You explore and you get new abilities, and that unlocks the ability to get to new places. Your weapons so far just stuff you find. I found a set of kitchen knives. That's my main weapon. I've also found a mouse, like a literal mouse, that uses like an up ability. So like you can just like you smack the enemies with a mouse, and then like a cell phone that you can electrocute enemies with. So it's kind of like finding shit on the fly, which is pretty cool. And the combat, and you get like a grapple like rope tethery type thing, so you can pull enemies towards you and use it to swing in that and traverse and stuff like that. I just unlocked a parry, which like reflects like projectiles and stuff like that, which to unlock some areas or defeat certain enemies, because some are quite strong, you have to like fire the projectiles back and stuff like that. So and there's lots of stuff to find, power-ups to attach to your weapons, and these little merchants. I've discovered quite a lot in the 3 hours already. And these
so when you're saying you're like picking up stuff with like, the weapons, are they set weapons as in you're meant to find them and they get added to like a repertoire, or is it more just like you're picking up literally just like, oh, you can have a mouse?
No, you add them to your you get them to your repertoire, and then you could like so far I've just got like my main weapon and my knives, and then there's 3 slots for like so I'm playing on PlayStation because I'm playing on PC and PlayStation so far. So you use square for your normal attack, which is your knives, and then triangle. Like just triangle is whichever you equip to your main one. So you've got triangle, triangle up, and triangle down for different moves, and you can equip so I've got my mouse equipped to the triangle, and the cell phone is equipped to the up and triangle. So you get different move sets, and they're special. So you get like 3 to start off with. You get 3 like special goes, and then attacking normally replenishes your specials to use them again. So it's and then you can find things to kind of bolster your things to like get more health back if you attack enemies, and you can attach them to the weapons. So it's got quite a few levels to it already that I've already from the things I've found. There seems to be quite a lot of stuff to find. There's lots of weapons to find. I looked at the trophies and it's like find all the weapons, find all of these boosty type things. So it seems quite like fun, and the enemies are quite. I've got a good challenge so far. I got at my ass absolutely kicked a couple of times, but that's obviously where you learn the patterns. And I fought a couple of bosses so far, and they've been quite fun. Again, like learning the patterns and just defeating them, and it just feels and looks really cool. But basically, the kind of overarching story is that it's all kicked off. It's like evil corporation, like the Umbrella Corp, have have done something. Have been doing dodgy shit, and then oh shit, we've let all the demons out or something, and like there's been a big explosion. They've locked off the city you are in, so you're kind of trapped in there at the moment, and you're just trying to. I have to find 4 eyeballs. Because there's this like blocked door I need to get into, and I can't do it unless I've got the retina scans of the employees. So I need to get the 4 eyeballs from those employees, but demons have possessed them. So I need to go defeat those demons to get their eyeballs to open the thing that was help Rem. But I feel like there's other stuff going on aside from that. But yeah, there's been like side quests and all of the stuff going on. But there's some interesting characters so far. It's been cool. I like it. I'm liking it so far. It feels good. It feels good to play.
Do you think you can estimate like how far you've already are into the game then in just 3 hours?
I don't know how to. I don't know how much to trust the the guide stuff in PlayStation. Like tells you how far you're on the main quest and stuff. But it's about 33% into the main quest. But I don't know if that's accurate with 3 hours. But you don't know how extensive it is, or like how much the bosses are going to kick my ass. Like when he.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. But yeah, like if it's averaging out sort of like an hour every 10%, so it's like a 10-hour Metroidvania. That's a pretty 10 to 12 hours. I'd say 15 at a push. I feel like it's like a really good time frame.
Yeah, it feels really fun. It looks cool. I really like the dynamics of the characters. They've established really well, really early. It doesn't feel like there's not been loads of exposition. It's just been crack on and get on with it, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is good. But yeah,
nice. Awesome.
I am hopefully going to be reviewing it for the site, so I'll have some impressions. Maybe I'll get it finished over the weekend and then get my review next week.
Very cool. Daire.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. This is actually really weird. It sounds like it sounds kind of like the game that I just reviewed called the Silly Polly Beast. It's weirdly a similar kind of premise where it's like this girl like making a deal with like the devil and stuff like that. And you have to do all this kind of morbid stuff like taking eyeballs and stuff. It's just a weird observation. It's like you're describing it. I'm like, didn't I just play this game? But that was like kind of a top-down shooter, and this is a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's really good though so far. It's by what's the name of the
it's Heart Machine, isn't it?
Heart Machine, yes, that's
it. It's the Drifter devs,
exactly.
Because it's been a bit wrapped running, not controversy, I suppose, but maybe it is the word, because they just laid off a few people, like quite a few people, haven't they?
Yeah, they worked on the game. Yeah,
it worked on the game, but like I know there's been the conversation. I don't know where exactly I saw it, but there was a conversation, one of the devs saying like there's some people like on about boycotting them because like they sacked the people not buying the game.
Yeah.
Like, no, if you want to support us, the people who've been sacked, buy the game because they still
get paid.
They're getting residuals on that then.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will sort of take that into consideration. And it does look interesting. I like the art style. It looks really cool. Unfortunately, was sort of busy with 2 other games, which are the ones I'm going to talk about, which literally one I think released on the same day, which was I think it was on the 11th, was it?
11th. It only came out this week, and it's got a 10 or 15% discount. In the first week. So if you're thinking about getting it, you can get it cheaper on Steam or on PlayStation Store. So
Yeah.
It's 12 quid for me. And like that for like
Good.
a great price.
Brand new game. Well, thinking about check it out, people.
Absolutely.
You ready to tell us what you've been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing, well, I'm done playing now, Dispatch, the final episode. The final 2 episodes came out yesterday. It's been a weekly release with 2 episodes a week. Ex-Telltale people, choose your own adventure game, superhero workplace comedy, which is
really
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's like it is a choose your own adventure game and stuff, but the main gameplay is this stuff when you're actually sitting at the desk doing the work, which is obviously dispatching the superheroes.
Yeah.
And that actually reminded me a lot of Promise Mascot Agency, which I don't know if either of you have played, but it came out earlier this year, which is basically a simulation where you're having to send characters with specific personality traits to complete jobs. It's like a kind of a lighter version of that, where like Promise Mascot Agency is a little more like intense and specific. This is kind of like, okay, you'll get like your job come up like, oh, this part of the city, somebody's cat is stuck up a tree, send a character with certain stats or whatever to go and get that. It's like their like power, motivity, which is basically like their health, their stamina, their speed, and their like charisma and stuff, these kind of traits. And that stuff is kind of handled like a dice roll. So because I guess this is some people that worked on Critical Role as well, or some of the Critical Role people. So there's a little bit of kind of D&D stuff there with the kind of dice rolly nature of the simulation side. But that stuff is all... You're basically doing one of those an episode with a little break in the middle, and all of that stuff is bookended by these long FMV animated sequences, which are essentially an animated TV show in which you're making choices, and those choices will branch out, and by the looks of things from the endings get pretty different towards the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good, because again, a lot of the time people will point out often that these sort of games tend to like have very, very sort of like varying degrees in like how the ending actually changes. Like you're wearing a blue jumper instead of a red jumper. But no, it sounds cool that they've actually like got, and again, it like I've seen a couple of other people talking about the series over obviously the weeks that it's been releasing. And again, seeing a lot of people say like they've had very different experiences, different outcomes and everything like that, which is really cool. But actually, the one of the things I'm most interested in about it is I wanted to ask you your opinion on the release cadence of the game and like how they approached its release. Obviously, as you said, it was the 2 episodes every week for 4 weeks, obviously amounting up to 8 episodes for the full series, or the first series as well, with now a conversation about a second one possibly happening, which is very cool.
I think it's a no-brainer given the success. Like there'll be a second season. It's probably just a few years out though. I imagine you don't want to make a 100% yes, as in we're working on it now, because then people, as you say, will expect it sooner rather than later. Well, I think they are actually making a Critical Role game as well. So it's like another one of these probably next year. That's something different, which I think is cool.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah, they've probably got enough on their plate right now. They can start ramping up towards that season 2, series 2. But sorry. So how do you feel then about that cadence of release? Do you think it worked?
I think it's incredible, because the thing is, I actually saw a thing today. I can't remember, but one of the companies that like tracks like player data and stuff actually released I think it was a tweet or something that was showing that every week there's a huge bump in players. And it's like, imagine if this was a TV show where you saw, instead of, because most TV shows, they'll have like a huge first or second episode and then kind of a drop off as it airs. Imagine if you were, a TV producer, seeing every week your show is actually getting more and more viewers, because that's what's been happening here, is that like every week a new episode will come out. The game's been super viral on things like TikTok and stuff. And then people will see that and go, oh shit, I might check this out. And now up until the last episode, there were still people doing that. And it's just been super successful for them. And it's been fun as somebody who's been playing it weekly to see, the community start to grow and people start to get invested, and there's a big romantic element in the game. So there's been a lot of people, the shipping discourse is happening and all of that stuff. And it's cool, it's the first game I've seen in a while that's had this big kind of community element to it, at least like a narrative game. And that's because everybody has been kind of with it at the same pace. As opposed to like, if like a big open world games comes out or something, some people will blitz through it in a weekend, and then some people will take months to play it. But this, it's like, no, everybody is locked into that 2 episodes a week cadence, and it's been really fun. I really wanted them to do this with Life is Strange when True Colors was coming out. I was like, if they're going to drop it all at once, I actually chose to play like an episode a day, because I was like, well, I don't want to just blitz through every episode, the second it comes out. I want to have some kind of cadence to it. And, I still think there's a place for that. I think even more so it makes sense to do that now than in the past, because Telltale, they were kind of just developing them as they went. Weirdly, there was like months between Telltale episodes.
I remember that,
but like here, it's like weekly, like they finished the game. And now not only have they like been releasing it weekly, but I did actually listen to an interview where they were saying they have actually adjusted things weekly based on like things they wanted to emphasize that players weren't really taking notice of and stuff. And I think that's really cool as well, having the ability to tweak things as it's releasing.
Yeah, that's as you say, unlike a film where, of course, when you put out your final, or TV series, of course, this is more like you put out what's there. I know we've had obviously the fun stories of like the Cats film getting a visual upgrade post release, like getting
I forgot about that,
a graphical patch.
Polish a turd and all that, still a turd.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise,
multiple different cuts in cinemas. Actually, I remember something like that.
So I remember they did that with 24, didn't they? The first series of 24. They were changing the script. They were like still filming it. They were only like a few episodes ahead of where they were at, so they were tweaking and changing it based on the reactions of the episodes before. I thought it was really cool. I mean, maintaining that is a nightmare, but like, but like, it was like I love that sort of stuff. Like, that's real life in it. It's good, all of it.
And like you mentioned, Daire, it lends itself to, as you say, like, people can on board, they bring people in, the community grows because people are like, oh, you should play this, and they're like, oh, well, if I don't know, it sounds like a lot. It's like, well, no, it's really short, and also there's more to come. You got more to look forward to. All that sort of thing. It's similar to a TV show you watch, so it's not that far removed from something you recognize. And also it then creates that water cooler conversation, which you kind of can get with some games, depending. Normally it's because they're something like Elden Ring, which is vast and difficult, and thus people there's no like one person who's probably going to just rush ahead and see it all and tell everyone about it. You're going to have those little pockets of people talking and sharing, and as you said, with something like Dispatch, you're getting more of that kind of, oh, this happened in mine, and oh no way, I've made this decision, and really, really cool. Do you think then that with and again, I don't obviously fully understand, you don't want to give anything away, but would you assume that like with the second season of this, would they continue with all the same, like, pretty much the same cast, or would you want to see them do like a whole bunch of new characters, say like, oh, we want to see different superheroes, that sort of thing? Obviously you could bring in new ones anyway, but would you want to see more of a just direct continuation, or maybe switch it up and give us a different person to take the center, like, as you've got one character, the main protagonist, haven't you? Do you want to see it with a different role, say?
Yeah, no, I think they can go from here. I just think the problem with all of the Telltale games, when they got like second or third seasons and you were still like following Clementine, right, like in The Walking Dead, is I feel like they never really responded to the prior seasons appropriately. Like, you did kind of still have to like nudge it in a way to like remember your choices. Even Mass Effect, I think, had a little bit of this. Although it was generally, I would say, pretty better. Is like, I would want it if there was a second season and it was this cast of character, I'd still want it to talk to my save for this playthrough, where because there are choices where like in this, like, not to spoil anything, but there's choices you can make, and then there's certain characters that won't be around, or they'll show up later in a different context and stuff. So I think that like having that there and having the relationships that you kind of build, and the ones that you kind of have a choice in, having those stay consistent would be really necessary to stay with this cast of characters. But I think like getting to the end and seeing the ending, it's pretty obvious to me that they want to go with this cast of characters going forward, and I think that that's the right call. I just think that they'd have to implement that in a way that made sense.
Yeah, it's a bit of an undertaking. Certainly, it's probably the harder of the two options to do. But as you say, it's the one that makes the most sense. You've already got an audience who like these characters, stick with them, continue their narratives, and introduce new characters that they'll fall in love with, that sort of thing. But don't risk it all by just getting a whole fresh new cast and hoping that everybody who came to the first season comes for the second season and they gel as well as they did the first time. Yeah, interesting though, as you say, because of that way in which video games work and people being able to make the choices and such. Like, it is a hell of a thing to take that into consideration. So yeah,
I think it's also worth mentioning as well. Like, they have the freedom to do whatever they want with this as well. Exactly. It's not like all of the Telltale things. I think all of them were like adaptations in some way or another. Like, I know The Walking Dead is, not really connected to the comics or the show, but like they all were kind of in universes that weren't created by Telltale. But this is like, the developer of it is called Ad Hoc Studio. It's not Telltale, but like it's their own thing. So like really, it's the sky's the limit on whatever they want to do for the second season.
Yeah. It'd be really cool to see what happens, and we'll keep an eye on the numbers because of course they sold 1 million units in the first week or 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, amazing. Very cool. And they put up a fun post about that as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, just it sounds like it's just a lot of great, very talented people, voice actors, writers, programmers, everybody coming together to make a really cool, fun, and fresh experience. Which is great. Any other games, Daire, or was it just Dispatch this week for you?
That's kind of it. Like, I've been playing some other things on the side. Like, I started up Ghost of Yotei. I've been playing the Dragon Quest remakes, the 1 and 2 HD 2D, but I don't have much really complex to say about any of those.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Again, we can talk Ghost of Yotei another time. I'm somewhat into it, but again, we can do a spoiler. We can do a spoiler, review of it or something like that, which would be kind of fun. We don't tend to do those on here, so I don't think we've ever done one of those on here yet.
That's actually weird because I floated an idea like that to Candy earlier. I think we should have a spoiler cast show or something.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
Cool.
Definitely.
But that was for Dispatch. I floated, not Ghost of Yotei.
Well, definitely. I mean, again, absolutely. I think there's a bunch of games we should do it for. Again, Expedition 33 is like on the bottom of the pile.
I love the idea.
There's no reason we can't talk spoilers for Expedition 33 here.
Oh, exactly.
I'd love to hear a spoiler cast of Ghost of Yotei right now. And that bamboo got fucked up. And that was it. That's as much as I've done.
Funny. But yeah, no, brilliant. Again, I've been playing a bit of Ghost of Yotei in my own time, but the two games I wanted to highlight, actually, one was one I mentioned last week, which was Winter Burrow. My review of that went up yesterday alongside a bunch of guides that I did, and we've also got a 100% achievement guide up as well, if you want to check that out, if you're someone who's picked up Winter Burrow on PC, PlayStation, I think it's on Switch and Xbox and Game Pass. So, if you're interested in a very cozy survival crafting game, that's there for you. Again, my review is up on the site. I'm not going to spill it all here to ruin that. Definitely go check it all out, get the score and like that from there. But what I will say is that I think it was a very well-made, polished experience. Everything about it plays well and feels like how it should to a certain degree. Except for there's this sort of incongruence between the coziness factor and the way in which they seem to kind of set up the elements of peril and danger and thus like challenge and things like that in it. Because again, it is a survival crafting game. There are things you have to take into consideration. You've got your health, you've got your stamina, but also you have hunger and you have temperature because you're in a snowy forest in winter, having returned to your family burrow to find it in disarray, and your auntie, who was meant to be looking after it, gone missing. events ensue as you basically get your burrow back into a state of living and start foraging, crafting, meeting NPCs, other little wooden critters to help them on their personal journeys on your way to rescuing your aunt from a huge menacing owl that has picked her up and swooped her off to their nest to feed their chicks. And that's where it kind of like has this moment where, for me, which then kind of runs throughout because it's hard to get away from, is that there are these sort of high stakes that are mentioned, as it were, and then sort of feel like they're sort of quickly brushed aside, obviously to make sure that people do not feel pressured in this very cozy, take it easy, take it as you want to kind of approach to game design. And for me, I just feel that with coziness, you don't have to have a lack of danger in a game like that. I think you can have those coexist in a game. I think we've seen it done relatively, quite often. I think now the cozy sort of label, I think, is now being used, on so many different genres now. It's not just your little farming sims or anything like that. You're getting it slapped on Call to the Lamb, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? It's like, you've got.
I never thought Power Simulator was a cozy game before, and then somebody called it that the other day. I was like, okay.
I can kind of see where people are coming from because it's a kind of feel-good game. You know what I mean? It's all about just like feeling good about everything.
But I feel good not getting headshots in Battlefield. Is that cozy? Like, where does it stop? It's cozy military war shooter.
Exactly. It starts with just footage of you playing COD, and then it cuts, like, it spins the camera around to you just like cuddled up in a blanket with like a mug of cocoa. It's like
just hearing that the peak of the headshots.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, But yeah,
that's like my cozy games are like the original Silent Hill games. I love the ambience, the atmosphere in those. But like, I think it's because the first time you play them, obviously they're terrifying. But then once you get familiar with them, it's like,
the space so well.
Yeah, the first 10 hours in Assassin's Creed Valhalla is all cozy for me because I just love walking around the snowy lands of Norway and stuff like that. I think, it feels lovely being in the cold and the snow and seeing the Aurora Borealis and all that sort of stuff. I love it. So yeah, every game's cozy. There we go.
Did it.
Actually, speaking of Aurora Borealis, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. The Simpsons content in there.
Of course.
Aurora Borealis in this game at this time of year, maintained exclusively in Fortnite. Can I see it?
No.
I love that they've got steamed hams in there, though, haven't they? Like, they've got, and you can choose to pick them up. I think
yeah, because they have like, there's definitely like a burger items or something that you can get.
God.
So yeah.
Exactly. That is a cool. They've really put the work in, haven't they?
It's really cool. I don't usually, I haven't really gotten into like Battle Royale in Fortnite in a while. I usually play the Rock Band mode, but I really like the Simpsons stuff because they've actually, the whole map is Springfield. Sorry, I'm not going to hijack your segment here. Harry. I just want to add this.
No. No one talks Fortnite on here anyway. We need someone.
The whole map is Springfield. It's smaller than usual, and it's only 80 players dropping in now, which I think inherently makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, no, and I've been playing the Switch 2 version, which is really handy because it's actually a very fun handheld game, and that version holds up very well.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, it was very impressive to see the whole world completely change and them to fully adopt an art style, which is the first time they've ever done that. I know they've introduced art styles for characters specifically, but obviously to just completely change the whole map like that.
I saw a great clip where Peter Griffin is chasing Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson into the Simpsons house, and then Homer he gets in there, and Homer is sat on the couch, and then he's looking for Marge, and you've just seen her in the corner. Marge has gone hidden under a lamp, and then he runs into the kitchen, comes back, clocks Homer again, shoots Homer, starts laughing because he's down there, and then Marge appears from behind the lamp and blows him away.
Don't fuck with the Marge players, man. There's so Marge players 99% of the time how I die. Marge Simpson is the sign. It may as well just be Satan in that game. Sign of the devil.
I'll have to see how far my son is in this battle pass, because I know that's how you unlock a lot of the Simpsons characters for it. I think Homer is the last level.
He's the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
The one you want,
So, There you go. I know that much about it.
They have stupid, sexy Flanders in there as well.
Oh, that's a good call. That's
Yeah.
a good pull. That's a good one. I like
And
that.
is Sideshow Bob in it? Because that's who I'd want to be.
I don't think so, actually. That is weird. Maybe he'll come later in the season. I know it's only this month they're doing this and stuff. Though.
Yeah, but now that's happened, it's a case of now of like once you've broken the seal, it's like they can bring other ones in anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, that'd be cool. But actually, to be fair, as I said about Winterboro, like it's not like it for me. It was a well-made game. It just didn't feel like everything kind of came together cohesively, and so there's this kind of like disconnect for me throughout. And yeah, I just other people may not feel the same way, and I totally respect that. And I think it makes a great cozy game. I think though for people who are looking for that crafting survival side of things, it's there, but it's not utilized that well. I don't think there's a nice sort of feedback loop within the game where it's sort of the coziness elements of the game generally feed back into the survival crafting. And if you kind of get what I mean, you're making clothes and stuff to keep yourself warm and making food to eat to keep yourself going. But other than that, like, you know, when you do up your burrow with new furniture, it doesn't do anything, and there's no differences between further furniture except for aesthetics. And for me, I thought there'd be more of a sense of like, hey, the cozy your burrow gets, maybe you get a great passive buff every time you sleep and you wake up the next day, similar to RPGs like like the Bethesda ones have things like that, and well rested, that sort of thing. Um, but anyway, I think people will have a good time with it. It's also quite short as well. And it's surprisingly emotional at times. The personal journeys of some of the other critters you meet go in some surprising directions, and there's quite a sort of melancholy kind of nature to the whole game. So yeah, if you're looking for something like quite calm and relaxing and not too, high pressure, have a look at Winterboro, or at least check out my review. And then the other game, which the review went up for today, because it released today, is a game called GIGASWORD, all in caps.
GIGASWORD.
Big caps.
GIGASWORD.
There we go. Yeah. This is a 2D sort of pixel art Metroidvania from a solo dev. The dev's name is Jack Breen, but the sort of developer studio name is Studio Hybrid. That's what he goes by. It's a high fantasy kind of Metroidvania, and you play a young boy called Ezra, who is on a quest for revenge to stop an evil general who has basically stormed this tower near to his village where Ezra and all the rest of the sort of human inhabitants lived during a time of need. And they have wiped out pretty much this race of owl folk who lived separate from the humans. The humans didn't trust them. The owls didn't do much with them. But they lived in this large tower called the Nestrium. Within it, there is this stone, or this I think called the Gnosis or God Crystal. And the humans believe that if they have this, they will solve all their problems. They will stop having famines and disease and all this sort of stuff, and they'll stop suffering. And they blame the Nocturne for all their problems, basically. Ezra happens to be friends with one of these Nocturne called Amari, who's looked after him from a young age. He was an orphan. He's always had a tough life. And then, of course, on this day, he wakes up early, sees a storm brewing over the Nestrium. Ezra runs over to find, the battlefield strewn with bodies. That's how you get the GIGASWORD at the end of the day. There we go. And you then obviously seek out on your quest for revenge. And yeah, the gameplay, which for me is this big highlight, is incredible. I think it really, really creative. I think brilliantly implemented, and definitely like the biggest highlight for me, because you have this big, heavy sword, which you take big, slow swings with, and you have to sort of time your hits, because there's a bit of a delay between when you hit the button and you're able to actually kind of get the sword over and give your enemy a good smack. You can only move it so fast, you can only dodge so far, and you can only jump so high. You can't swim, you can't grab ledges, and you can't pick up other items or interact with certain things. But Ezra can basically, stick the sword into the ground, leaving it there, and then run around freely, unable to attack, but he then is able to run quicker. He can dodge further. He can jump high. He can grab ledges. He can swim. He can crawl through narrow gaps. and he can pick up other items. And so you have this really interesting kind of like dual gameplay system where the combat, the traversal, the exploration, the puzzle solving, the boss fights, everything is built around the fact that you not only will gain new things as you progress through this Metroidvania, which unlocks new pathways and things like that, but also it's this constant like puzzle within everything, even including the puzzles themselves, of figuring out how to use the sword, when you need to, how to get the sword from this location to that location without carrying it. There'll be moments you have to leave it in one room, exits to get round to the other side of somewhere to then lower a door, to then get the sword back from the other side. But it requires you running through several chambers full of enemies without being able to attack. You have to just avoid them, dodging and jumping over everything. And yeah, it's this really, really fun, very, very creative, and like just sort of fully kind of like involved system, to keep realizing things as you're playing. Like, oh, because I have the sword, I can't swim, but it means I can run along the ground in water, and I can then like hit walls underground, which then will reveal like a secret passage. Couldn't do that if I was just swimming without the sword. And so there's always like something extra to find somewhere else as you're exploring and progressing through the game, alongside unlocking abilities for your sword with the currency you collect from enemies, finding certain collectibles like scrolls for lore or feathers that have been scattered around that you, once you gather all the ones on one of the floors, you can upgrade your health. Really cool boss fights, as I said, and it's all done in beautiful pixel art. I think it's really, really well done. There's a couple of patchy bits here and there that look a little bit placeholdery, but otherwise really beautiful backgrounds, and cool boss and enemy designs, and the animations as well. Like everything feels really weighty, as it should, with this huge sword. And credit to the dev for making the game generally, when it's working, feel great. The issue being that it is very buggy. There is a lot of technical issues with it, unfortunately. It's pretty rough around the edges, but I think there's something really special here. It's one of those where I wanted to have some sort of caveat in my review, but I didn't want to like muddy the waters with the score and things like that. Where I wanted to be clear with what the state of the game is right now and giving it the score that I did, but also clarify that I think this is a really, really cool game. I think the ideas in this are fantastic and really well executed. The game and everything in it works. It's, as it were, until it doesn't. That's the thing. It's until it doesn't, and it's not because the system. It's not because like, oh, it's unbalanced, or it's the bad hitboxing. It's like no, it's none of that. It's when it's on the odd occasion that like, oh, clearly the hit detection on these blocks hasn't, the flag hasn't, it hasn't been changed when I've hit the secret wall to make it disappear, but I can't walk because there's an invisible wall there. He hasn't, unfortunately, they haven't, programmed that in. That's been missed out or something like that, or that you lose your currency if you die and you can collect it again out of Souls likes. There were a couple of occasions when that just disappeared, so it's like not game breaking, but progress was lost, and it's never fun to lose progress. You know what I mean?
Could be game breaking potentially.
Could be, could be. It's thankfully it's one of those where there are one or two occasions where you need the currency outside of upgrading your stuff, but it's always to unlock side routes. It's never to unlock the main path or anything like that, which is good. But at the same time, as you said, it could be really, really frustrating, as it was on occasion. It was frustrating, but because the game itself, I feel like, is actually really, really solid, like more than solid. I think it's great. If there were no technical issues, it would have had a much higher score. But unfortunately, it is just got too much going wrong with it that it just ruins the flow. And for someone like me who wants to see it through to the end anyway, because I like Metroidvanias, but also has to for a review, you get on with it. But for others, that might not be enough, and they may just be like, you know what, I can't put up with this, and I get it.
Yeah,
and that's why I wanted to be upfront. I wanted to make sure it was clear that right now, unfortunately, this is what you will be dealing with. But at the same time, I do think it's worth checking out. Fingers crossed.
It's a similar experience that I had with Spirit of the North 2 earlier this year. That it was like, if it weren't for the technical hiccups, it would have got a higher score, and it would like really affected how like the enjoyment of the game. So that's
it. And we saw. Yeah, and we saw with Spirit of the North too, because of all your guides and stuff like that. That just how
Patched the
popular
hell
that
out of
game
it.
was. You know,
Yeah.
like that, like even despite that, you know, and people were aware of it. But it's because people, you know, if you like a genre, often, you know, a 7 is an 8, a 6 is a 7. You know, it's always that little bit of, and that's how I feel about GIGASWORD. GIGASWORD is a this score, which I feel like is this to me. You know, it's that way of looking at it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a line that we walk in terms of like personal scores versus what our critical score kind of
Yeah.
has to be. Because I've definitely reviewed games where it's like I like emotionally like this, or at least I want to extend like a charitability to a developer more than I feel like I actually can,
Yeah.
because then I'm not doing right by the reader, or I'm not doing
No.
right by, you know, actually critiquing what's in front of me.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's tough. It can be tough at times because you have to kind of keep yourself in check, and that's a hard thing to do
Yeah.
with some of these things. But yeah, right. We've definitely gone quite long there on what we've been playing. Already nearly approaching 50 minutes. So let's get on into the news. People have been waiting long enough. Let's get into the PlayStation Japan focused state of play. We obviously had a bunch of us covering it here, and Adam has done a fantastic roundup. If you want to check that out, it will be again in the description below. But again, we will be looking at it, referencing it now. But yeah, there were obviously some cool titles, I think, revealed. Obviously, we also had some updates on things like the Elden Ring Night Rain DLC, which looked pretty cool. I know, Adam, you're very excited for that, being someone who's spent a lot of time with that one.
Artorias is back, baby.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But also the other big announcement from it would be the new console, which we'll have to clarify here is not meant for audiences outside of Japan. This, as we said, is a Japan-centric focused showcase, and it really was, if anything, not just because of the developers they were highlighting, but because they were making hardware for just Japan, which is very interesting.
Is it digital only Japanese language only model? Is that the only difference?
Yeah, it's region locked as well, so you can't even, you know, even if you do put a disk drive on it, I think that it'll still only support Japanese discs.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, what would you guys like to talk about first? Do you want to go through the games, or do you want to talk a little bit about the console? And obviously there was the monitor as well, which we have a separate article up for. The Sony PlayStation have released a sort of official PlayStation gaming monitor with a built-in charging stand, which is kind of interesting.
I like that. I like the little charging stand right in front of the monitor, so you can just like there. It's nice that like you've got a place for your pad, which is quite a nice feature, and it works with both PS5 obviously because you just HDMI it, don't you? But and the PC. But like it's interesting that they're leaning into the different elements of the hardware. So you've got a monitor, and you've got the speakers that they announced previously, haven't they? So like.
Yeah.
Is the next console going to be a PlayStation PC hybrid? Like, is that where they're going? Because everybody else is.
Yeah. I had some thoughts about this in the Discord. I was talking to a few people about it, and you know, my big takeaway from this even existing, like the PlayStation State of Play Japan, and then like the PlayStation, the Japanese PS5, you know, and stuff, is just there's been kind of a concerted effort this generation from Sony to really push back into the good graces of its Japanese audience, because at the beginning of the generation, when Jim Ryan was the head of PlayStation and stuff, they did actually make a concerted effort to move away from Japan as kind of their base of like their base market. They moved their headquarters, the PlayStation headquarters, to LA and everything. They closed Japan studio, you know, turned them into Team Asobi and stuff. And so I think that this state of play really ultimately was just about like pulling the Japanese audience in, and I think a lot of that is actually trying to get them off PCs. I think it's a lot of that is, or at least trying to show them that there's value in having a PS5 and a PC, because realistically I don't think they think that they can stop people from playing on PC now. It's just become so entrenched in, you know, modern gaming culture. But this whole thing, especially with the like hyper focusing on the Japanese studios and franchises and stuff, and then the console and the monitor. Like, it really felt like a play to be like, we care, Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you're absolutely right. I mean, you look at the track record of the sort of games and things like that. And I think it's funny that you can kind of look back at how PlayStation generally behaves, and I feel like they just sort of kind of swing from one kind of extreme to another. Like, we see these rash decisions being made by them. Microsoft, as it were, or Xbox is always kind of just sort of meandered with not really knowing what they're doing to a certain extent, it feels like, in comparison. Nintendo, you can't judge, they're so erratic, but yet they just seem to always kind of know where they can feel their way through, it seems. They just seem to kind of find a way.
Nintendo also has nothing to worry about when it comes to Japan as well. Like, they have a chokehold there,
Yeah, 100%.
I don't. Yeah, and because I get the ambition with the State of Play, but the State of Play itself,
like
the games, a lot of them were like, here's a game that's been out for a few years on something else, and now it's coming to PlayStation as well, and it's just like, all of the PlayStation State of Plays this year have been a bit, and where are the games? As PlayStation's got no games. Like, they obviously have, but it's just like, I know that they absolutely nuked their entire catalog by saying we're not releasing 12 games or whatever because they're all live service and stuff. But they must have really knocked them back, because we've heard nothing really. Wolverine aside, I can't think of
Wolverine and Saros, I think, are the two biggest things.
Yes, Saros.
Intergalactic exists, but that's years out.
I just think that I don't know what's coming next year apart from Saros and Wolverine, possibly.
That's those are the two that we know of.
Marathon.
Marathon, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Marathon. Woo!
And are they still doing fair games? Is that still happening?
The rumors are that might be in trouble, but again, we don't really know.
Okay. Also, even if they do, I mean, it has an uphill battle. Same with Marathon of finding an audience.
Yeah, but so it was, and obviously, a lot of people just online and stuff, and we've said it in the Discord as well, that this not necessarily for us as an audience. Obviously, we have interests in lots of. I mean, I know I do loads of different genres of games. But
sorry. So Sony is publishing Tokon as well, which is technically a live service game, but that is a PlayStation published game.
Yes, true. Yeah, that's true.
He's very Japanese centric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of games in there. I'm very excited for more Elden Ring. I know they won't because it's Bandai Namco, but put some extra achievements in it, please. I just like a few more to have a go at. I like it. But that the one that stood out for me outside of that really was the Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse, which just looked lovely. It's a full-scale 2D action game where you wield the power of a cursed hat to slash and cast spells against your foes. So you launch your hat at things and then take over. And it just shows this poor witch getting murdered, and she goes, if I throw my hat at the big beast, I'm going to survive now, and I love it. It just looks so fun. It looks like you're going to die a lot, but it looks ace, and it just looks fun. And it's being published by Pocket Pair Publishing.
Cool.
It's an in-house studio that's been built out of Pocket Pair, but then it's being published by them as well. So it's
that's cool.
Yeah, looks really fun. So that was a highlight for me, and that's coming out in March, I believe, 5th of March for PC and PlayStation. Switch and Xbox are also confirmed, but the date isn't necessarily guaranteed for the same date. It wasn't clear when they announced it. It says it's for PC as well, but then the Steam page hadn't been updated with the date. It's available. It says PS4 and PS5, definitely. But then Switch and Xbox on their website says coming soon, so not necessarily on the same date. But looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. So would you say then Elden Ring, Night Rain, and
Nevergrave.
Those are your highlights. All right. What about you? I'll let you go first. I don't want to step on yours and take them from you. You have at it.
I honestly, as somebody who considers themselves a big, Japanese game fan, primarily, there really even wasn't much for me out of this. I had never heard of Broken Lore though, and that being introduced as this really well-known series with a ton of installments actually really surprised me. And the games look really cool. There's Broken Lore Unfollow and Broken Lore Ascend. Unfollow, I think, is something that's been out for a while in Japan, and Ascend is a new game that's coming out on PS5 only. I think I don't even think it's coming out on PC yet.
No.
Those look really cool. They're like psychological horror games based around kind of fears of like social media kind of topics and stuff like that. That's cool. The Silent Hill, the short message, tried something like that, and I think handled it awfully. But this looks interesting. It's its own series. The trailers looked really cool. The Unfollow, I think, is coming out in January as well, so it's really close. Which is crazy to say, but I guess we are in November. Those look really cool. I'd never heard of that series as well, but apparently there's lots of it, and that was a nice surprise.
I feel like, I feel like I've never played one of them before. I feel like I've seen a Broken Law game, but it was on like maybe it was like a PS Vita or one of the like. I don't think it was like a mainline console. I think I saw it.
It's really weird that I don't know about it because I was obsessed with the Vita.
Well, no, again, I'm pulling a console out today.
Yeah,
that one. I have no idea.
Like the type of thing that if I saw it on Steam, I would scroll past it and I would just be like, it's probably just some like streamer slop or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the way they showed it in this state of play looked really good.
And again, I think it was a nice mixture of games for this showcase, and it wasn't too long. It didn't stick, I didn't think it hung around onto anything too long. We got a couple of developers obviously interviewed as well, which is cool. So I think it was a nice bit of variety in there for this showcase, just as much as it wasn't, as you say, aimed at the Western audience or any audience outside of Japan, really.
Yeah.
For me, my two highlights would be. The one I'm definitely excited for is Motion Wreck, which was the little pixel art puzzle platformer, which they showed off, which has got a really fun like recording mechanic for solving and like moving around, solving puzzles and moving around and things like that. Very much my kind of vibe, real kind of sort of like brain melting stuff. Lots of eureka moments and stuff like that, which I live for, and I love a game that goes for very kind of like pared down pixel art. And stuff like that. Just bits of bold color here and there. But yeah, it's coming to I think it's coming to PC and PS5. I don't know if it's out on PC already, maybe, or I think it's already out on PC, and I think it's coming to PS5.
See, it's interesting with Motion Wreck and a couple of others in this state of play. I wonder if they're getting a Western release and if they're only Japan only, because when I was pulling the trailers for the summary articles, Motion Wreck and Kaiuran Makaism weren't listed there. They were only on the Japanese page. So I wonder if they're not slated for, because we used to get that all the time, didn't we? There used to be lots of Japan-only games or Asia-only games, and I wonder if those are still in that sphere. They might not be, but they were only there at the time when I published.
It's in English on Steam.
That's why the Japanese trailers are there. So
yeah. It's in English on Steam, and it's from the publisher Playism, who do tend to release their stuff in English. So, but I understand, because I remember even back in the day, like on the PlayStation blog, there used to be stuff like the Japanese blog would get updated, and you'd just be sitting there being like, "Are we getting that? No."
Yeah. No.
Usually published by Atlas. But the times have changed, but I don't think anything here though. Like usually, what they would do is they would put that in the Japan only, state of play. Like the Japanese channel would have that. Like, Nintendo does that for Nintendo Directs all the time, even if the game does come out in English, which I think is weird. There's like JRPGs and stuff that show up in like Japanese versions of the Nintendo Directs, and then they don't show up in our one.
Makes sense. You don't want to broadcast it to everybody and then everyone get excited. They're like, "Oh, sorry, this wasn't meant for you." It's like, great.
Exactly, yeah. But given that they gave it the focus of it's focused on the Japan audience, I wondered if some would be.
Yeah, no, I had that thought while we were watching it as well. Yeah, I definitely was concerned about that, but it doesn't seem like anything. At least I've not seen anything.
No.
It's only Japan.
No, I think overall though, like as much as we said, and say it again, wasn't meant for us in that respect. I think it was still an interesting one to watch, and it's always interesting to see what these big companies are doing to try and keep their audiences, grow their audiences, and I think PlayStation just has a funny habit of just kind of putting all their eggs in one basket over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
I don't know why
Well,
that is.
it's like an
Sometimes it really pays
overcorrection.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it just really pays off for them, and then other times it's just a huge, massive miss. You know, like we saw it with the PS4 where they weren't doing great, and then they started releasing all these fantastic third-person, you know, predominantly sort of narrative-driven adventure games and action games, stuff like that. And then they suddenly go, oh, you know what's really worth doing? Loads of live service games, a bunch of extraction shooters. That's what we'll do. And now, of course, we've seen pretty much all of the, you know, fruits of the labor there. So now it feels like this is the next one where they're like, crap, yeah, we've upset a lot of people by not actually focusing on our main market for a really long time. Let's go back. So we'll see what the fallout is from that. We'll be interested to see what the numbers are, the sales on that console, and the TV, the monitor as well. That'll be interesting. See who's interested in that.
It's also worth mentioning as well that like that idea of a Japan-only console isn't even exclusive to PlayStation, because Nintendo had one of those for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that about the Switch 2.
Yeah, it's way cheaper, and I think a lot of that is just because Japan's economy is not great. And I think a lot of that is just to keep the momentum, at least in Nintendo's case, is to keep the momentum that they've had. I find it weird though that the Sony one is the digital only one. I would have thought it would be the disc drive one. I get that it's to keep it cheaper, but Japan historically, like a lot of people say, like physical media is still really big in Japan, and we see that through like the sales and stuff that come out of there. But I thought it was kind of weird that it's the digital only one. But again, like keep price down. They can just buy the disc drive, I guess.
Keep price down, but then lock you into the digital sale.
Yeah. It's like they're taking a loss on those consoles, so they're making up for that on PSN sales.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We've seen that before, as we said, with like numbers, sale numbers of games and stuff going down, but the amount they make from it overall because of everyone subscribing going up. So it's like we may profit anyway. But anyway, let's move on to what is the main topic. But we already past an hour, so we'll see how long we can do this for. Might be a little bit of trimming for this one. We'll see. But of course, shortly after PlayStation had their little show, Gabe Newell, of all people, stepped out of the shadows with a glint in his eye, pushing up his spectacles to catch the light.
I'll bring dangerously close to that air horn.
And of course, they announced and showed off a whole new range of Steam hardware. The first and foremost being the new and perfectly named, chef's kiss named Steam Machine. I mean, it couldn't be anything else. I did suggest maybe the Steam Engine would have been fun, but there we are. No,
but that's been copyrighted for about 200, 300 years.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel. But no. So of course you have the Steam Machine, which is of course Steam's what looks to be sort of hybrid PC console, their PC in your living room contraption. Their new attempt, their second run at getting into the home, into the household living room. If anyone remembers those days, I certainly do. Working at game.
Game,
but so of course you have that, which we'll dive into. But you also had the new Steam Brace. Is that what it was called? Which is the headset?
Steam Frame.
Sorry. Frame. Steam
Brace is what you need to carry it all in one go,
that's it.
Guys with the big drums on the back, so you can machine at the front.
Think about a bag. The Steam Brace.
Apologies. The Steam Frame, Steam Machine, and it was also a new. Oh well, of course, the Steam Controller to go with these things, and the Steam Frame has the two separate ones, Joy-Cons. What do we refer to them as generally? As a
Steam Frame
controllers at this point. I know they have the Steam controller, but like, I know that like the Meta ones are just called like the MetaQuest controllers and stuff.
On the Steam's website for the new hardware, they call them Steam Frame controllers.
Right. Okay, then there it is. Flies right off the tongue.
I don't think they've called the ones since the PlayStation Move.
No, I know. I just it's like I don't
so
know.
that you needed those on the PSVR one.
I used my 2 reference points. Those are the 2 times I've ever had them. So I could have gone like Wii Remote, but then I was like, well, it's not the Wii. I know that much. So yeah. But yeah, wands. I don't know. Yeah, not too sure. But yeah, of course, very cool, trendy, fun trailer to show it all off. Again, I love the fact that off the bat they showed off this little neat cube design, which very much looks like either a Xbox Series X has been cut in half, or a GameCube that's I don't know, got a bit more money in its pocket and has bought itself a nice new outfit and looks very sleek.
The handle does that.
Yeah, we need the. Yeah, it's not quite the lunchbox without the handle.
No, exactly. That's the thing. That Gabe's kicking himself now. He's like, yeah, should have put that handle on. You know,
dead on arrival. Dead on arrival.
Of course. We should probably mention that literally everybody and their grandmother has called it the Gabe Cube.
Indeed.
Gabe
yes.
I liked Gabe Station, if I'm honest.
Gabe Station's good. That's also good.
There's so much filth on Steam, isn't there? Like,
yeah.
That's a UK reference. I don't know if the rest of the world had Babe Station, but that's
that's just for us. Exactly.
You can only play it 5 to the hour after 12. And at 12, you have to pay a subscription to play it. That's what happened with Game Station.
Oh dear. Right. So yeah, let's break it down, shall we? Let's have a look at this stuff. So we've got the Steam Machine first and foremost, which is a small console-like PC piece of hardware that is designed to go wherever you want it, whether that's under your TV monitor or banana. Hey, that's on Valve's website, and of course, there's a reference to the age-old tradition of using a banana.
There you go. They got the banana and everything out of it.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. So good on Valve for doing that. If you're too young, it was basically just the idea that bananas were used as a way to show scale and size in video games. Yeah, there you go. Banana for scale. Carrying on, of course, the Steam Machine has a small form factor, being around 6 inches in cube form, with the power supply also concealed within the tiny box. It is actually, smaller than the GameCube, which is very impressive. Carrying on.
Gee, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Obviously not drastically, but still, it is smaller, which is very cool. Billed as being 6 times the horsepower of the Steam Deck, it promises to play your whole Steam library, including AAA titles. You just need to log in with your Steam account. It will also feature a fast suspend/resume feature, sounds like Xbox's quick resume, as well as cloud saving. There'll be 2 storage options to purchase, either a 512 gig or a 2 terabyte version, but both devices can use microSD to expand memory. The Steam Machine boasts 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. It also houses a wireless adapter for the Steam controller for direct pairing. You've also got a nifty LED strip on the front and customizable front plates, hopefully to come, because they showed those off in the trailer, and that was actually the thing that I immediately went, ooh, at. So, hoping to see more designs of those. I know that, is it D-Brands? Is that the...
D-Brand are doing skin,
companion design.
Also said they're going to release the 3D print file for people to make their own, which I think is awesome.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I like that. But yes, so what were both your sort of reactions to this? Obviously, I know neither one of you is sort of like solely PC.
Absolutely not. I am, if anything, anti-PC. Yeah. Like the Steam Machine is exactly the sort of thing that I would buy because I hate PC gaming. Yeah. Because it's such a faff and endless, and I mean endless faff. Yeah. Because even if you build a good PC, then if as soon as you get a stutter or something slows down, you're like, hang on. And then you're locked in. I need to get the next component. I need to upgrade. And then you buy the component, and something isn't compatible because you've got a piece of software that you really like to use, but it doesn't work with the game that you've installed. So you've got to find the driver and update everything and change it all around. It's just a fucking faff. I just want to play the game. So that's why I like console gaming, because I can just plug it in and play the fucking game. So take all that finickiness away and bring me a box that I can plug under my TV and turn on and access my games, and it will play them. Great. That's what I want. However,
there's a caveat.
However, I have thoughts about this, because if I had a library of Steam games, Absolutely. I have maybe like 6 games in my Steam library, and one of them is a wallpaper engine. Like I have, but I have 1,000 games on my Xbox library.
Yeah.
I'm not about to start a new library, but if I was going to start looking, there's loads of games that aren't on console, sure, like loads of indies and all that sort of stuff. So like with those things in mind, maybe, but it depends on the price in those regards. Because I don't see the, especially if the 2 terabyte one, I don't see that being cheap. Like some people are hoping it's going to be like 400 quid, something like that, and I can't see it. To be honest, I think it's.
To be fair, they have said that they really want to be competitive with the price. Like they do keep emphasizing affordability, and Valve has been like with the Steam Deck, they do eat the cost a little bit by just locking you into Steam and being like, okay, we'll make it back through like the 30% cut on game sales. So I do think that it will be priced kind of competitively with the PS5.
Yes.
At the very least, that one, because I think the Series X is like $650, like for the standard in the US. I don't see it being that high, personally. At least maybe for the 2 terabyte one.
2 terabyte one might be. Memory just
exactly. With the 512 gig one, I think you could see that maybe coming down as low as like maybe what for us here in I know obviously you're in Ireland, sorry, but UK audiences, I imagine we'd be maybe looking at maybe like £400, 3,999.
Yeah.
You know, for the entry level.
That's kind of that's roughly like, I guess that would be like 450 here, and I mean that's kind of roughly what I'm thinking as well. Because the thing is I don't know if you guys saw, but in one of the videos they did show that you can actually upgrade the storage, and that's actually what I did with my Steam Deck. Is I did actually change the SSD because I got the cheap one, the one that they don't even sell anymore. That was like 400. I think it was 420, and that I imagine what they'll do similarly with this 512 gigabyte one. It's like, okay, you can buy it very cheap, but later on you can buy, I think you can even get a full SSD, not just the little kind of laptop ones as well. So that's really cool.
That's nice. And again, Valve have always been great about that. As you know, the whole approach is, you know, we can survive because of our audience, because of our fans, and because of our customers, and thus, you know, once it's in your hands, it's yours to do kind of almost as you wish, within reason. But they are so cool about people being able to just, you know, the 3D printing measurements is a great example of that. To hold up and just be like, most companies be like, hell no, we wouldn't let you want to do that because we'll make them, and then we won't make them, a la Xbox. You know,
the one Starfield wrap
Jesus
that you could put on your Series X.
No, but man, come on, guys. Didn't they? Yeah, I mean, and even PlayStation in an even better position because they literally had plates. They had a whole thing.
Yeah, last time they didn't need plates.
Yeah,
they changed the design of the system, so even if you did buy the plates, you can't use them on a new one.
Absurd, absurd. But yeah, you know, again, Valve. Pretty much as always.
Those Sony and me a new monitor because of those fucking plates. Actually.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I bought a PS5 Pro and regretfully, and then I was like changing my SSD. And I really struggled for my old PS5 to get my SSD out, and I pulled the thing and smacked it into, because I was on this desk, and smacked it into my monitor, and then cracked into my monitor. I was buying a new monitor. The PS5 Pro is fucking grand. Like. It's ridiculous. And then I turned it on to play Possessor. It's the first time I've turned it on in a year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Console on PC.
Totally worth it. Thanks, Sony.
That's incredible.
So Adam, you are considering this then? Would you say?
No.
No,
because you know, more for me probably, but I kind of want to wait and see what the Xbox's next console looks like.
Yeah.
Because if Xbox's new console is, if it has Steam like the ROG Ally X, then I'm all for that because it provides what this provides, but I don't lose my library.
Yeah, of course.
From my Xbox,
yeah.
I can still then
and it consolidates it for you. It brings it all into one place.
Into one place, so I can benefit from the things that I like about the Steam machine. But keeping my Xbox stuff as well, which is what I don't want to lose that. And actually, it means I have to buy one, because if the Xbox is a premium console and it's expensive, in my head I've already earmarked that I would get that at a certain price. But then if I was going to buy a Steam machine, then like it maybe doesn't make up for it. That's just me rationalizing it in my head now. And I'm trying to argue to buy it in like 2 or 3 years' time. But do you know what I mean? It's yeah. So,
Absolutely.
but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not in a rush to get it. I do like the concept and the principle of it, and I love that it's just slide it under your desk and the way it is. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, they've done a great job of selling it thus far, even just the
Yeah,
we've only seen one opening trailer. Daire, what about you? How do you feel about this? Is this something that you will consider? I know you're obviously like thinking about PCs and things like that right now.
Let me just say, as somebody who may, potentially, hypothetically, be in a Discord call right now on a Steam Deck because their laptop broke a few weeks ago,
you can't argue with that.
The ideas of getting a PC sometime soon, but don't know what build to budget. This kind of appeals to me.
Yeah.
To say the least. And somebody who has, let's be real, I mean, the Steam Deck I've been using since it released in 2022, and I've become very accustomed to Steam OS, which is like the big thing here is that it'll be running Steam OS. That like really sings to me. It really is just a matter of the price. Because the thing is, as well, as I'm already kind of prepared for the fact that people have been saying the specs in it are a slightly weaker than a base PS5. But basically, the way that it gets up to 4K is by using all of those upscaling technologies and stuff. And that's not great, but it is becoming more and more of a dependency for a lot of, like games and hardware and stuff like that. Like even the PS5 Pro depends on that stuff for like that full 4K. So I don't know, like to me, it is definitely exciting. It's definitely something I'm considering heavily. But I will still kind of need to see how much it is because of that kind of caveat. Just because it's like, for me, it's like, okay, if I get this, because I've invested now into Steam, I have a pretty much, I was actually looking, pretty much my entire Xbox digital library that I actually have now on Steam just through sales and bundles and all of this stuff. So I could actually give up Xbox for this if I wanted to. And, I've been not feeling great about the, Microsoft lately, so I might do that. It would still then be like, okay, am I going to be taking that much of a hardware hit by, doing something like selling my Series X or giving it to a family member in order to get this? Because not having that option and then getting in and being like, okay, well, there's a game that's not on PlayStation that I want to play that's by Xbox. Yeah, I might now be suffering because I don't have quite the hardware that I had, and something like Keeper, right? Like Keeper was a game that I really wanted to play because I love Double Fine, and it's not on PlayStation. It's one of the games that they're still holding to themselves, but it is on Steam, and I played that on an Xbox. It has a couple of moments where it runs a little rough, and usually that's not stuff that bothers me on consoles because it's just like, okay, I'm here, I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, if that happens on PC or on that kind of environment, there's something in my brain that will be like, go on the options settings, let's see what I can do here. And that could actually ruin the experience for me, which is something that you're kind of talking about where like, I do like the comfortability of having, the preset version for consoles.
Yeah.
It wouldn't replace my PS5 anyways, so it's not something like that where like, I would still have the option of PS5, but for those games that are still intense, still, high fidelity, but I would choose to play them on this. It's like, okay, there is that concern that it is actually weaker than even the PS5, which is, 5 years old this week,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy to think, isn't it? 5 years already.
Yeah. Like at that point, like in the PC realm, that's considered outdated, by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you must be outdated within what, 3, I'd imagine, like with PC, how quickly it can move. Like
3 days, probably.
Yeah.
You walk out the shop with your graphics card, it's already out of date.
Yes, that joke in The Simpsons, it's the most advanced PC, and it always will be, and as soon as it leaves the store, it's out of date. And it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really interesting. Again, I'm in a position where I only have my laptop for PC gaming, and it's only really because, again, I'm joining the sites. I've been pretty much solely a console gamer for most of my life, dabbling with PC here and there, and more into like handheld than PC as well, if I was to go any other direction. So the Steam Deck was certainly something that, when that first came about, I was like, oh, okay, this could be a way into PC gaming before all this happened. And now that I'm playing on a laptop and reviewing games and building a small library of games on Steam, in particular because so many games like indies don't make it to console but do arrive on Steam. I love it for that. And thus also I'm never probably going to use my PC, generally speaking, especially right now, as a like, oh, I'm going to play loads of AAA games through this. So the most high kind of like bar game I played this year was Chronos: The New Dawn, which was a pretty high bar game, to be fair.
Yeah.
And my laptop couldn't hack it at like higher settings, which is no surprise. It wasn't meant to. It's not got the hardware for that. Yeah. But it was able to run at pretty decent specs, and it ran smoothly, and I had a great time with it. But I would be happy maybe knowing that, like, well, I'm not going to play Chronos on my Steam machine because I've still got a PlayStation or an Xbox, or
Yeah.
And thus, I can treat the Steam machine as my little Steam indie box. For me personally, that's how I would look at it.
That's how I've been trying to think about it as well, in order to put in my brain justifying to get one. Because even it's like, I don't have access to a PC, and I haven't since joining the website. But when me and the GirlPod hosts played Peak, I actually use GeForce Now for that. So it's like, if you are absolutely, there's a game on PC that's like really high end, and you really want to play it, it is an extra cost, but like there is GeForce Now, because I also played Dead Take on that, which is a really demanding game. It's like Unreal Engine 5 ray traced game, and it's Steam Deck verified for some reason, but it does not run well. It runs awfully. And it was on GeForce while I had the subscription, so I just chose to play it there after picking it up on sale. And it's like there are still safety nets if you get into the PC ecosystem, like into Steam and stuff. There are safety nets to like play demanding games, but like you already need to be invested there, because it's like, if you're a console person, then you're just going to stay a console person. But like Dead Take, for example, like that's not on consoles, that's only on PC. So it's like, if I really wanted to play that game, which I did, I had to get creative. But like there are ways to do that now,
that's it. There's it's no more fine, like hard lines in the sand anymore. Console and PC and all the rest of it now. There are all these different hybrids now coming about. There's this sort of blurring of the lines, and what's a console, what's a PC. Eventually they'll all kind of amalgamate into something that look all pretty similar, and then it becomes a matter of again, probably who provides the best service, which was always meant to be the case with the consoles. It was always meant to be who provides the best service, who has the best games.
I mean, I think that's where we're at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, especially with the stuff about Xbox.
Yeah.
I go back to my phone analogy, because if they are all heading in the same direction, console PC hybrid type thing, it's like, well, then what features? Why would I have an iPhone over an Android, or what am I getting from that one that I'm not from that one? And having that choice in that way is because it all plays the same apps. Largely.
I'll tell you what as well. I will say this as well. I was very impressed with the charging system. When you talk about the one for the PlayStation TV, again, Valve walk up and completely smack that out the way and slap down their one, which is that fantastic magnetic, just
magnet.
like, oh my God, just like that for me, if anything. I know I'm all about the aesthetics and such. I appreciate that, but it's still, that for me, when I saw that just happen just so simply and easily, I was just like, you've nailed this. And then for them to be like, oh yeah, it's included with the controller. I'm just like, Nintendo, pay attention. This is how you handle things like this. For goodness sake.
They also said as well in one of the things I watched that there will be a bundle with the Steam machine and the controller. So, and which I know kind of sounds like a no-brainer, but like they could easily sell the Steam machine just on its own and be like, oh, connect an Xbox or a PlayStation controller.
Absolutely, because again, that's their sort of mantra, isn't it? It's like, we're not, you can use our stuff. You don't have to. You can use a controller you prefer, and we're very happy with that because you're still in our ecosystem. That's what we're all setting this up for. In the same way that, like we were saying earlier, I think it was you, Adam, talking about waiting to see if the next Xbox is going to have Steam on it. There would be people who would argue like, oh, why would Valve put Steam on the next Xbox console when they've got their own hybrid console they want to get in your front room? It's like, well, Valve have come out themselves and said, like, this is not them going after the console market. This is just them going after their own market, who want their games in their living room in a way that's easy to access. And this is how they're going to do that. And that means for them, slapping Steam onto the Xbox console will mean nothing to them because it's just getting other people who may not be in their ecosystem into the ecosystem.
Yeah. This is
It's
how
a
you get more,
win-win.
because you could sell more Steam machines. Like if you've got, like if I've got the next Xbox here in my den, but I wanted, like I started to build a Steam library through virtue of having Steam on my new Xbox, then I could start. I maybe would be tempted to get a little indie box. For another room in the living room or in the bedroom or something like that, just to chill with something simple. But then that transfers if if you get something else in the ecosystem in the future. It's a smart way around it. Don't be precious about it.
It's crazy because like even for that period there, like when the Switch 2 was announced, I was like very much like, it kind of motivated me to use my Steam Deck as like an indie box because it was like, I don't know when I'm going to get a Switch 2. Let me just try and, kind of buy my indie games here for a little bit, get myself out of the Switch ecosystem because I don't know when it'll be. And it ended up basically being that I was buying my indie games there, but I still wanted the option to play them on my TV. So I was using them docked and stuff. And like it forced me to be like, okay, I'm going to use this for like my lower end stuff, and then it became kind of a part of my setup. So it's like it makes sense now to have this machine that is more powerful, has more potential to play stuff maybe like Dead Take or whatever I was talking about, but have that kind of make sense in my kind of situation over there.
100%.
Absolutely.
And also I can bring it over here and use it as a desktop if I need to, if
you can install, you can
if that makes
install
sense.
operating systems on it and apps and stuff like that. So you can install Windows on it if you wanted to use it as a PC. So like it just
very, very cool stuff to see coming out of Valve right now. It is always exciting to see what they have to say whenever they step out onto the balcony.
I am curious.
The crowds gather and we all just wait.
But I think it's really interesting though, because like the first Steam machine, way back, whatever. That did not, in my head, go well as a device, and like
it didn't.
Available to buy
orchestrated,
in game and stuff like that. And so I think I saw someone comment on Twitter, and I didn't see who it was, but like, is this going to make it to retail, or is it only going to be available via the Valve
Steam.
Store?
Because, the Valve Store.
Because like I've seen a lot of hyperbole around redefining the market and console market and all this sort of stuff, and I'm like obviously people are blustering a little bit there, but like a lot of people don't like console gamers, the people who buy a PlayStation to play FIFA only, like, do they even know what Valve or Steam is? Is it on their radar? So does this even track? Are they even like clocking what this is to the general populace? But like, or is there an opportunity to be more ambitious and get it out there differently than
I think getting it into your specialist stores makes sense. Trying to get it into any game, like video game retailers that still exist. Like if game was worth the time,
you'll have some space on the shelves for it at least.
Yeah, exactly. But
the thing is, if they do that, then I think they are kind of forced to sell it at a higher price. Because like I said, they do take a loss on these things because they're selling it through Steam, and then you're booting it up, and the first thing it boots to is Steam.
Yeah,
so right. I think that, like, if they put it through retailers, now a retailer is going to make a cut, then it does actually bump up the price. And then it's a weird dynamic of like, oh, do they sell it cheaper on Steam but not here? But like, I think that they inherently keep these things niche because they want to first and foremost go to the PC audience.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see maybe what the marketing will be like for this leading up to its release.
Absolutely.
It's the sort of thing that they could, if they wanted to, approach with, an ad or two that circulated and things like that on, TV and your buses and stuff like that. And I think honestly, it probably wouldn't hurt, but at the same time, again, as you said, they probably don't need to. So why bother? I guess at the end of the day, they've no doubt spent agonizing amounts of hours working out the ingoings and outgoings on this thing. So we'll just have to wait and see. Once we get a sense of the pricing, that will obviously tell us a lot more about it. As far as what their attitude is and what they understand to be a entry level PC / PS5 kind of price and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, really cool to see. And again, we're winding down on this episode, but I wanted to obviously cover the other bits real quick if we could. We've mentioned the Steam controller, which are nice looking. Well, as far as the Steam controllers are concerned,
I mean, those pads are not.
They're not nice.
Those
No, it looks better than the first one did. I feel, because I didn't like the mixture between matte and I hate it when you mix plastics where you got shiny and matte plastics together.
Yeah.
It looks awful every time you do it. So the fact that they've just all matted it, I'm just like, good, well done. You've learned to make something look at least pleasing to the eye, even if the design of it is still.
It's got this thing called on the Steam controller called grip sense.
Yeah.
So like you grip it, like you can change it to a button press, but you grip it on the side and it activates gyro aiming.
That's interesting.
So like you could be like aiming and then you click and then you're moving like this then to aim. So you've got more like a mouse feel as well. So you've got like multiple options within the same controller, because you've got the mouse touchpad type thing, the normal controller style, and then this gyro thing as well, which is pretty cool.
There's a lot going on with it. Again, they pack so much into this stuff. It is really impressive with all this hardware. And again, as the same with the frame.
Yes, the frame. The frame is really interesting actually, because it's got this.
Frame is super interesting to me.
Yeah. It's got this thing called foveated. What was it called? Foveated streaming. So with the PSVR 2, they had this thing where they had the eye tracking thing. And that was a big deal, this foveated view thing. So wherever you're looking, it knows where you're looking, so that you can actually build that into gameplay and stuff like that. But it's kind of a similar concept, but instead of it being necessarily about where your eyes are moving, it's where your eyes are moving, and that's where the pixels get, like the strength of the pixels gets stronger.
Yeah, the resolution is based on that.
You get better detail where you're looking, and then it dulls the rendering around it where you're not looking, to kind of how they can make like better image quality through a wireless streaming first headset. So like it's really interesting tech to make that happen, I think. And also, can we just give a quick shout out? 1 AA battery in one of those controllers, 40 hours.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, fair play.
The battery life for a lot of this stuff again is actually really impressive. Again, the
35 hours on the stream controller, and then 40 on them.
Again,
but the headset tracks the controllers as well. Within so it's got the cameras built in to track where the controllers are. Which is quite interesting. So it's but it can also play. It plays VR and non-VR, so you can use it to play your normal.
Yeah, they made that clear, which is very cool.
Install games onto it. You can install games from your Steam library. I don't know what hardware they're running inside the headset. I have to imagine it's probably comparative to like a MetaQuest or something. But that's really interesting. The idea that you can not only stream games. And I actually was wondering about this in the context of the Steam machine, because I do have a Quest. I'm like, that'll probably run VR games well, so I could stream those to my Quest. But the idea there that like it's primarily for streaming, but there is internals that can run games. Like the scale of that, I think, is really interesting. Like, and all of that being baked into Steam means like there's so much potential for it.
And they keep from the implication of the brief type stuff that came with it. They're going to keep adding games that work on that standalone basis that don't need.
It's like Steam Deck verified.
Verified, it's going to be like frame verified sort of thing that you can install, like you say. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, under the hood for that, by the way, like the idea that they're getting SteamOS, which is a Linux operating software, working on ARM, which is like the mobile kind of technology, that is actually like, I don't think that's been done before. I've seen a couple of people say like that's crazy that they've managed to get like a Linux operating software running on like mobile technology. Because that is, I think it's the same technology that the MetaQuest is built on.
Okay. Again, I'm not a big VR gamer myself. There's 1 or 2 times I've enjoyed it, but I haven't ever owned one myself, and thus I'm always intrigued to see like where it's going. But so often it's always the constant conversation with myself of like, are you going to play it though? Like, you'll try out a couple of things because it's a bit of fun, but is it too much of a gimmick still for you, Harry? Not that it in its entirety is a gimmick, but just for me as a player, as a gamer, like, am I actually going to get enough out of this? It'd be like buying like an actual like Dance Revolution machine. Like, I'll play it once and I'll be like, I can't do this again. I'll give myself a heart attack.
I have basically my VR. I've got a PSVR 2, and it's largely a rhythm game machine. Beat Saber, Ragnarok, just drumming to rock music, and just like that stuff.
And there's some great experiences, obviously. Absolutely, I love
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
the stuff you
I
can
do
do.
want
Yeah.
like I've got the I did get the PC adapter for it though because I want to like try Skyrim VR and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And I enjoyed I played like the Astrobot rescue mission game, like the very first
Rescue Mission
Astrobot
is
game.
great.
Great.
Yeah.
Like that there for me was like, okay, if people were all making games like this for VR, I'd be
Yeah.
all over this stuff. But again, they're like
yeah.
once in a blue moon, you get like one of those or a Moss. A lot of it, again, strange enough, PlayStation, because they probably recognize that their audience are like, we really like these types of genres
Yeah.
of games. Make these for VR, and then they'll buy the VR.
Yeah, PSVR 1 was great for the amount of support it
Yeah.
had, but that's kind of the problem now. Even with the Steam Frame, it's like, VR studios are having it, some of the worst in terms of like layoffs and closures and stuff, because that kind of fad, quote unquote, has passed, and obviously a lot of that space is dominated by Meta, which is a rough company to be under. So it's interesting. I wonder if this is going to start like a resurgence in VR, or is it going to be like super specific?
Well, I thought that as well though because like surely Steam they've got the finger on the pulse with this sort of stuff. They wouldn't invest in like a VR headset if they didn't think it was going to be worthwhile, right? And it might give more like you said, that kind of we could do VR because Steam's backing it, and that might then in turn support more VR games going across to the different platforms. Because really, no VR headset should have an exclusive because that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's too small of a space. Yeah,
exclusives. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there. I agree.
Nonsense. But yeah.
I also think that like they are pushing it though as like this thing that can also play your regular Steam games, which it creates a little bit of concern. It's like, okay, they are kind of trying to de-emphasize the VR-ness of it as well. So,
Yeah.
a little bit of a concern there, because that's also what Meta has done, is to try and take the kind of game side out of it and be like, oh, it's like a device that you can use, for everything.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but what you really should be focusing on is the games.
Yeah. Hopefully, again, it's just very much like the caveats they have for the Steam machine, but they're like, you can put other things on it if you want to use it for that as well. But ultimately, this is why we've got it.
I mean, you could do some really cool stuff with it, and I really hope that it's not like they try different like apps rather than just games as well. Because like with my wife's got a Meta Quest, and she's got like this app that lets her do like a virtual art gallery because she's an artist. And she'd create like a virtual art gallery that you can then walk around in VR, which is a really cool concept. Set up your own art, like that's it.
That's nice.
Stuff like that's
your
really
friends
fun.
around to have a look at your art and stuff. That's
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm in the Louvre in my head.
Yeah. Take that one down. Removes Mona Lisa.
yeah, absolutely. The Mona Lisa with the rabbit instead.
Yeah.
What were you doing in the Louvre last month? Actually, hold on.
Yeah.
No, she won't know.
Oh dear. Right. Let's wrap this one up, gentlemen. We are at nearly an hour and 40 minutes, and I think we've kept everyone here long enough. Absolutely. It's getting late for us here. It's literally just hit midnight. So why don't we move on to, unless anybody else has any closing thoughts. It's very exciting. We wait to see obviously more info about this. But
just say they're all coming next year, and we don't have any idea on pricing yet. So as soon as we do, keep it tuned.
Yeah.
We'll definitely revisit this. I think when we get all that sort of information, I think it'd be fun to have another conversation about it when it gets closer to the release, and see how people are feeling then. But yeah, why don't we move on to our closing section, which is, as always, what we are looking forward to. And to give both of you a little bit of time, I will give my own, and I will say I'm looking forward to SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide. I am a big fan of any Royal 3D platformers, but I've always enjoyed the SpongeBob ones. Battle for Bikini Bottom was great fun. I did enjoy Cosmic Shake, not as good, I feel, as the first game, but I still enjoyed it. The sort of tomfoolery, bright, colorful worlds, wacky characters. I mean, I love SpongeBob anyway, and so I played even the Dice of Destiny little dungeon crawler game that came out earlier this year, and did a review on that, which you can check out on our site. But yeah, I love a bit of SpongeBob. I love a 3D platformer, and yeah, it's always just a nice break from bigger, heavier games like Ghost of Yotei and things like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Titans of the Tide. Which one of you would like to go first or last?
Yeah. keeping with the VR theme, Thief VR.
Yes.
Because I enjoy a good stealthy, like sneaky, stabby. And then I for its flaws, I enjoyed the last Thief game. Because
I did too.
Sneaky, stabby.
Yeah, me too.
So when they kind of said Thief's back, it's in VR, I'm like, ooh, I want to play that.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be crawling around this room, like I'm literally gonna be crawling around. I know I will crouch, you can hide. Like, don't see me. So I'm looking forward to that, and that comes out next month apparently. It's a busy day, is the 4th of December. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, not long. Daire, bring it on home for us, please.
All this VR talk has got me thinking. I've been circling around trying Siberia VR, which just launched on Quest today, but there's nothing for it pre-release, so I'm a little skeptical. But I am considering, because I love Siberia. It's one of my favorite point-and-click adventure games. But I'm excited to play more Ghost of Yotei. I'm looking forward to that. I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far, and I'm looking to see how it goes. And I'm also looking forward to their Game of the Year stuff. We've been kind of planning that stuff, and I've been trying to get the last few things in that I want to. It's not that close, but like I want to make sure I have my kind of thoughts and my top 10 and everything I want to come and fight for, prepared for once we get that going.
Absolutely.
And there's been some discussions happening lately, so yeah.
No, looking forward to it. Yeah, you've been hard at work, and it'd be fun to start getting some of that stuff up and running. But yeah, so that is everything that we are looking forward to. That has been this week's episode of the Weekly News Podcast. Thank you two for joining me today, and thank you all for listening or watching. As we said at the top of the show, everything that we talked about today you can find linked below if it's any of our articles, alongside any of the reviews that we have put up recently. Speaking of which, let's see what we've had recently. Of course, you can also check out the November issue of the demo disc, which is a fresh new issue. Goes up every month as we cover demos to bring them to you at a demo disc of old. And this one is a bumper issue because we had Steam Next Fest last month. So we always like to pack in a few more extra ones that may have been released over that period. But yeah, we have got review-wise, of course, GIGASWORD and Winter Burrow from me. GIGASWORD. I'm going to have to speak to Candy about that one, maybe.
Yes.
We've also got... there it is.
Didn't get me this time.
Dream Garden, we have a review for. Hidden Cats in Rio de Janeiro. Oh, wait, which of course was what Mark, I think, brought up last time. A Pizza Delivery was his as well, and Bounty Star. Those are all our most recent ones, it looks like. But yeah, again, go and check that out. Check out the rest of our stuff as well, please. It really helps us out. Slow growing site, but we're punching above our weight, which is really great to see. So, come and support us. Again, come and join us. Come and join the Discord. You'll find the link below in the description. Come follow us on social media. Come just hang out, chat, and tell us what you think. And again, if you've this was the thing I forgot at the top in the rigmarole, everybody. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you would like to leave any feedback or share your thoughts on today's episode, drop it in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I think that is everything. I'll decide whether or not I'm going to splice that in at the beginning. I probably won't. With that, though, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Play some great games. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.